Welcome back, guys. We're going to continue working on the power station. Now, I've had, first of all, thank you for all the comments and all the suggestions, the mod suggestions and all that kind of things. I've installed the old roads mod, so that I can have these dirt roads again, which would be really nice. I've got the flat terrain mod. Oh my god, I wish I'd had that in the last episode when I was flattening all of this. So thanks for all that. I'm going to make a change to what I originally planned. Originally, I was going to have this train line going up here and then just have this kind of like branch going off here. But I think I'm going to bring the trains from Tavistock down in like through this station. Now, I might have another line that goes around the top. I don't know. We'll kind of see. The other thing, another comment was about freight, about freight and how freight gets into town, and how the freight depot, the train depots tend to be kind of a little bit out of town, and then it gets trucked into town. So, for example, this should actually be moved a little bit away from Tavistock. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to lower this terrain down, which I was going to do offline, but I actually started doing it, and then I came up with all these other ideas, and I thought, well, let's lump it all together. So I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to get on with it. So let's go. And we're off and running. And while I'm ripping out that old line and putting in the new stations and whatever, a few things to tell you. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I had a very strongly worded request that I turn the music down. So I've turned the music down, and hopefully that's better. Although I'm sure I'll get somebody who complains, can you turn the music up? Because I can't hear the music. I guess it kind of depends if you like the music or not. I love the music in the game. I think it's awesome. Second thing is I had some complaints about the video being blurry. Oh, let me come back to that, because now I'm using the terrain flatten mod, the flat terrain mod. And it kind of works exactly the same way as placing like an airport or a train station or whatever to flatten the ground. The problem with it is, I mean, it's very good because you can determine the size, you can play around with the height and how the edges work and all the rest of it. It's very customizable, but you've still got the same limitation on like the depth of terrain that it'll deform. So yeah. Now, I had some comments about the videos being blurry, and it wasn't. They were saying, "Oh, you're not recording at a high enough bitrate and whatever." No, my recordings were absolutely crystal clear. I found the problem. It was the editing software, and I've made some changes, which hopefully, fingers crossed, would have got rid of that blurring. You could see it, like it was really obvious at the beginning of the last video. So hopefully that's fixed. So what am I doing right now? Well, I'm doing that big terrain change that I said. Now this took me. First of all, I did like a test run to see like how it would work, and I was playing around with the flatten mod and stuff. Probably spent a couple of hours, and then when I actually did it, it was another couple of hours. So, and the second lot I recorded. So this is edited down from 2 hours to about 2 minutes. Well, it's about 2.5 minutes. And as you can see, it's starting to look not too bad, and it ends up looking really good. I'm really pleased with the result. That valley looks, here you go, it looks nice, it looks natural, it's smooth. I'm starting to get the hang of it. So yeah, decided that I had to make some changes to this station, because obviously we want a through station now. And then it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, then I've got to replace all these buildings. And then if I'm going to do that, like the platforms are different as well, because you have platforms on the outside. Whether it's a if it's a terminal station, then you don't have platforms on the outside. If it's a through station, you do have platforms on the outside. So I decided. I was tempted to go with a 6 platformed, and then I was like, yeah, no, 4 platforms fine. And then I just had to make a few changes to adapt it so that I could get these buildings around it like the same as I had it before, because I liked the way I had it before. But it all worked out in the end, and let's face it, that's the most important thing. So yeah, so talking about like the whole project, this video is the result of 12 hours of work, of which I recorded about 6 hours. And then that 6 hours has been edited and time-lapsed down to about 25 minutes. So it's pretty condensed. So what you're seeing is really it is an edited, time-lapsed highlights of what I did. But you know what? I loved it, and it worked. It worked out really nice. I mean, you'll see at the end. So what are we going to do in this? So yeah. So first of all, I'm messing around with this. I did the terrain, and then putting this station back in, linking the tracks up. That's all done now. And then I start working on the road network and putting the scenery decorations in. So like all of the hedgerows and fields and all of that kind of stuff. And I got well, I was going to say I got carried away, but I didn't get carried away. It's just I went further with it than I was originally thinking or intending that I would, because kind of every time I did a bit, it was like, you know what, I need to do a bit more to like completely surround the power station. And then I ended up doing a couple of really cool bridges, like over the river and stuff. And just loads and loads of stuff. And then after that, I got onto the detailing of the power plant itself, putting in vehicles, stuff lying around, pipe work, all kinds of bits and pieces, lots and lots of vehicles and containers and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, we'll get to that. Let's focus on this. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm working on the road network and linking the power station's roads into like the existing network, because they form the basis for the field boundaries. So it's kind of critical to work kind of hand in hand with the designing the fields and putting in the roads. So it's like throw in some roads, then throw in some hedgerows and whatever, and then see how that looks, and then do a bit more, do a bit more roads, do a bit more fields, do a bit more roads, do a bit more fields. This is that one that crosses over that tunnel, and I do like that one. I did like that. It worked really nicely. And I'm really getting the hang. Well, you can kind of see I'm really getting the hang of this now. It's, I mean, I did a pretty big area in like a reasonable amount of time. I suppose out of that 12 hours, like the first couple of hours was just like planning and the dry run on the terrain. So then we're down to like 10 hours. Of that, probably I guess 6 or 7 hours of that was spent doing the roads and the bridges and the all of the fields and stuff. So yeah. And that kind of makes me think, yeah, is this doable? Like is it just going to take forever? I was kind of worried about that before, but now I'm thinking, no, it's doable, like across the whole map. I mean, is it a lot of work? Yeah, it's a lot of work, but man, I think it's totally worthwhile. The result you get. I mean, wait till you wait. At the end, by the way, like after the time lapse, then we're going to ride on the trains. We're going to ride on a bus. That's going to be you'll like that. You'll like that. We'll ride on a bus, We take a look from the boat, we take a look from a plane. So yeah, you'll get to see this from kind of every which way. And you tell me, you know, you make your own mind up. I think it's like so worthwhile. It just looks so good. I mean, sometimes when you like look at a model railway, and it's like the detail is just phenomenal, and it's like it's almost it's kind of verging on real, and this is getting the same way. The area around the power station is just fabulous. The power station itself has become just such a brilliant centerpiece to the whole thing. And there are lots of areas of the map where you can't see it. Like you go to the Chudley Valley, you can't see the power station. You're miles away from seeing the power station. But all of the areas in the center can see the power station, and it really does add to the whole, kind of visual feel and ambience of the map. So when you're riding a train, it's not just riding a train; it's seeing all the stuff that's around it. So this is why I want to work on more of these kind of set pieces, putting in, like taking one of the industries and just building a bunch of stuff around it, or working on that rail freight station that I'm going to be working on next. So yeah, I'm so into this now. This is the thing about, like, I played Transport Fever for a while, and after a while I kind of sort of like run out of ideas and get a bit bored with it, and then I take a break, and then I come back to it, and it's just like, oh my god, there's always new stuff. You come back, you get fresh ideas, you get a fresh take on things, you take things to the next level, and you can already see this starting to take shape as I start to put in the different textures. And you do a bit, and then you're like, oh right, so now I need to do that bit, and this bit needed to be broken up. So you just add bits in constantly, and I love the way that the thing just kind of evolves very, very organically. It's like, okay, this needs to be broken up. We've already got to put roads in. Okay, just break it up with some hedgerows. Dress it up. Throw in a texture. Boom, 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 boom. And there it was done. It's very sweet, and it's very satisfying. I'm getting better at like blending the industries into the terrain, and I'm getting much faster at putting in like these hedgerows and then dressing it up with the trees on top, and I think I'm making it look more natural, more realistic as time goes on. I'm getting better at it. At least I hope I am. I guess I'll find out when I read the comments at the end of this video, and you guys tell me if it's good, bad, or indifferent. But you can see I'm kind of rattling along. We're over halfway through the time lapse, so I'm coming to towards the end of doing this stuff, and we'll move on. I think the next thing I do is I'm not sure. It might be the bridges. I don't know. We'll see. The texture going in. Boom. Here I'm just checking the views. And again, the next bit of the road network. See, one of the things is when I'm putting all this in, I really don't want to have to go back and rework it. So I'm having to make sure that all of the industries have some kind of road network in place, so that I don't have to like go back and go, oh damn it, I've got to replace a whole bunch of fields and stuff because I need to provide like some kind of access or whatever. But once you kind of like get your head around that and anticipate that, the whole process becomes like relatively easy, I have to say. Time consuming, yeah, but in a good way. It's like it is fun. You take this kind of barren terrain and you just turn it into something that's just so much more. Nice wheat field. I thought we were far enough away from the power station. I could throw in a wheat field at that end. And it does, you know, you throw in one of those wheat fields, it really does brighten things up. Right, so that's as far as I go down the valley. So all I've got to do is fill in this scrub ground in between the road and the rails. Still a few little bits and pieces to do. I've got to redo the gravel texture on the station. I think I do that after I've put these trees in. I'm trying to put the trees in like kind of sparsely so it doesn't block the view from the road. Just checking the old views. Oh, here we go. Yep, putting the gravel texture in, and I put it around like the whole station. It looks really good. It looks really good. Love the way that station's worked out. The buildings work really nicely. Everything's like just spot on. And I say at the end of the video, and I think I say more than once, that's the thing. I couldn't have asked more of this. It's fulfilled all the potential when I had the original idea of like what it could be. It's in fact, it's probably exceeded my expectations for how good it's turned out. Again, in my opinion, you may think it's rubbish. You may think, like, what on earth have you been doing? Right, here we go. I decided it was time to put in some nice bridges, and what I wanted to play around with was the flatten mod, because you can set how high you want it to go. And I wanted to see, like, if I use that, like, would it make putting bridges in, like, easier? And you can control the angles of the terrain on the sides and stuff. But like usual, it's one of those things you got to get used to it. And man, trying to get the bridge pillars in the right place. I mean, I got it. That's something I'm definitely getting better at. But man, it's definitely fiddly trying to get those pillars to be in exactly the right place that you want them. And then just going to finish it off with a nice gravel texture, and then a few bushes and plants around the outside, and that is one of my favourite bits of like the whole thing. Amazingly, I'd love putting those bridges in. If you do it right and you dress them up nicely, they look so damn good. Just so damn good. So, last few bits of hedgerows around that area, and that's looking not too bad. But I looked at it and I was like, you know, I need to kind of extend things even further. So I knew that I was going to want to have a bridge across here at some point. So I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do it, now is the time to do it. Because I want to put the fields in and dress up this side of the riverbank because of the views to the power station. I wanted to come further down the river. So I thought, yep, now, like, seeing as I'm in bridge mode, let's put this one in. This one was much more difficult. I couldn't get the damn pillars to be exactly where I wanted them. Eventually I did manage to get it to put 3 pillars in. They're not perfect, they're close. They're bearable, they're okay. But yeah, that was I edited out a lot of the tinkering and playing around with that bridge. I spent quite a bit of time messing about with that bridge. does look pretty good at the end of the day. And then having kind of figured all of that out, it was just a case of dividing this up. And I thought, like, how can I kind of divide this up? So I put a road down to the river, and then I was like, well, what could I do? And then I thought, oh yeah, what about if I put in a boathouse? Little bit of dressing up, pop some roads around it, some bushes, some trees, and that makes a nice little feature. And then on the riverbank, I just thought, you know what? Just rather than put in like a really hard edge, just throw in a kind of a scattering of trees and bushes. You'll see what it looks like, because I sail past that on a boat. You tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think when we're actually looking at it. I'm not going to say anything now. I want to, but I'm not going to say anything now. So then we move on to detailing the power station itself. I started off just putting in a few more little bits and pieces, and then moved on to starting to add stuff in. And I started off with the vehicles. I wanted the place to appear busy, you know, like there was a lot going on. So I thought where I've got these two big truck stations, I'd throw in a whole bunch of trailer assets to make it look like there's just a lot going on. And then I was looking for a place to have like a big fuel storage. And I ended up putting it over here because this was kind of the largest empty area. Love these trucks, these little panel trucks. And then I added a few like bits of road around the place just to kind of, again, like break little areas up. And then just started adding stuff around the place. The kind of stuff that you would expect to see, you know, like construction materials and containers and stuff like that. Yeah, here we go. Containers, different shapes, different sizes, stacking them, stuff like that. Love these. Those tank containers. Oh, this is me putting bins like by all the doors. I didn't put by every single set of doors, but like I put by a lot of the doors. Now I wanted to do something with the pipe work. The problem is that there's a very limited set of pipes, so it's kind of difficult to come up with something like that's really elaborate and convincing. So I kind of threw some stuff in, but I wasn't like massively happy with how that pipe work turned out. And then I was finding areas and thinking, okay, what can I put in here? Because you can't just put stuff all over the place. And I thought, well, maybe treat them like parking areas. Now, if I'd got a set of car assets, I would have used cars in places like this. But I don't have any car assets. I've only got like trucks and stuff. Mainly the stuff from Onion Jack's mods. Now these are the containers, and these are really nice, really nice. I think is this another Onion Jack mod? I think it might be. I'm not sure, but they're just gorgeous. They're so colourful, and you can stack them up to I think 5 high. I only put them up to 2 high, but and then again just putting in a little bits more roads and stuff, and adding more and more vehicles. Just trying to make the place look active and busy, and love that little smiley face on the end of that tank. And then coming to the end of it now, just some final dressing up with a few bushes and trees, a few vehicles in the I was going to say parking lot, in the car park. It is difficult. I really wish I'd got some car assets. It would have been so much nicer to have cars in the car park rather than... But like, it still looks good. I think it still looks good. One or two little buildings around the place. Oh, and I added an extra exit at this end of the site because somebody said that I should have 2 exits, one at each end, so that it, like in the case of an emergency, they can escape in the direction of the prevailing wind. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know. I don't work at a nuclear plant, so I don't know. But apparently that's a thing. So now I'm just kind of looking for like gaps, like places that need a bit of filling in. And I'm just kind of throwing in like whatever I can think of. Mostly like just dressing up with a few bushes or whatever. Just tiny little amounts, not big amounts, just tiny little bit here and there, just enough to change it, the texture color or whatever, just to vary it a bit. And that is pretty much it. So let's get back to normal speed. I'm gonna ride on some vehicles. It's coming up. And there it is, in all its glory. That has taken me, I've been working on this for just over 12 hours. And was it worth it? Oh my God, it was worth every second. Oh. Okay, what do you want to start with? Should we start with the train ride? Yeah, go on. Let's ride the trains. Oh, I can't wait. If we come over here, now, these 2 stations are not connected. So the trains on this line are still going into this old station. That needs to be ripped out, and I need to route this into here. But I need to do some rework around here. So just so that they can still keep shipping the fuel around, if I just throw in a road hooking these 2 stations together. Let's use a medium country road. If I just throw a road in like that, then yes, so they should still be shipping stuff around. So yeah, and this line and everything's working up. I put all the signaling in and all that kind of stuff. So right, let's jump on a train. So this is the train that we're going to ride. Now this was stuck on a little bit of track just here, so I've just curved it around so that it can get back onto this line. Should we go? Let's go. Let's go. Let's jump on. We're on the Tavistock fuel line, heading for Honkelbriff B. Go. So this is the undecorated part. You can see it's all very bare. And then we're going into the decorated, but the decorations kind of start here. And look at that. That is perfect. Just the tops of the towers and the smoke just glimpsed through the trees. And then as we get closer, you remember me saying in the last episode that I wanted kind of a third to half the towers showing? And there, that's exactly what I wanted. And as we come around the corner and start to go down the hill, we get the whole thing. Look at the reactor buildings. Don't they look awesome, those domes? And look at all the different textures. I am almost speechless. But then you see these big bare patches and it's like, oh my God, we need fields, we need more decoration. Now I'm coming into the station. We've got level crossing there. We don't stop at this station at the moment. Now that's probably going to change. I've got some ideas about how I can actually utilize this, like really utilize it. And it involves a goods factory. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say for now. But I've still got to kind of work out the details of exactly how that would work. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it might end up working. So we come down here, still in the decorated part. It's pretty nice. It's pretty, I mean, yeah, I love it. I mean, it really is like a model train set, isn't it? This is a virtual model train set. And you can control it down to like every tree, every signal, every sign. Look at this bridge. Oh, that bridge turned out beautiful. And then we're out of the decorated into, look at the difference when it's not decorated. Oh my God. So, what did you think? Is it worth it? Was it worth it? I freaking think it was. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on board, because what we want to do is turn around and see it from the other way. Of course we do. Come on, train, flip around. And off we go. I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit just to get us out of the station. And there we go. Do love this bridge. Oh, getting the pillars in the right place and textured and just blended in the terrain around it. I don't know what you think, but the mountains, once you've decorated and got the fields and all the rest of it and extended the tree line down so it's not just like a straight line and stuff, the mountains look fantastic. And then here we come out the tunnel, and there we go. The cooling towers, and then as you get a bit closer, you see the other chimneys. You get a bit closer and you see the gasometers. And then as we get a bit closer, the domes of the reactors, and these buildings are really, really good. I am, you know, big props to whoever put that mod together, because these buildings are lovely. I love it. Now, of course, we don't get to see like all the details, unfortunately. Oh, you kind of just get little glimpses of the stuff, but we don't really get to see inside. So, what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to do something about that next. But I think some of you will probably kill me if I jump off this train before we have a look at the valley from this direction. I am going to be interested to see the comments and see what you think. Does this look realistic? I mean, it looks pretty darn realistic to me. Look at the mountains. Don't the mountains look good? But just having those different textures, just makes such a massive difference. Okay, right, that's enough. So, what are we going to do? What are we going to do next then? So we've ridden on the train. God, doesn't that look great, guys? Seriously, that could be. We could be watching this on like a real picture of a real train. This game is so staggeringly good. Right. Next, I think we want to see this from the road perspective, and we're going to set up a bus. Okay, so we're over here in Ashton, right? And like, if you work at the plant, how do you get there? Well, I mean, if you've got a car, obviously you can drive there. But some people either don't drive or don't want to drive, and they want to take the bus. So we're going to set up a bus line so that they can get to work. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this this bus terminal here, Ashton Central, and we're going to set. Let's put a new line in. Now I'm going to make two of my patrons happy, because I had some requests for some naming. So this is going to be named after Shava. This is going to be, oh, where are we? I missed this H. The Shava line. One of my bonehead patrons. So I have to do what he says. I don't look after him. So the Shava line. What are we going to do on the Shava line? Well, we're going to start off at this bus terminal in the middle of town. So, oops, let's get that. So we'll start off there. And then let's change it to a light blue so we can see it a bit better. Then we're going to go, well, it goes out of town. It goes over the bridge. I've got to say, this bridge needs to be replaced. It's, yeah, like, you compare that with the new one, that I just put in. I mean, that's, you know. I was really in two minds about whether to curve that or not. I think it actually would have looked better if it was just slightly curved. I wish I'd put it in slightly curved. I mean, I could do it again. So yeah, same thing needs to happen with this. It needs to be elevated on the sides. We need a proper bridge. But anyway, we come over that bridge and then we come up here onto the site. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go round here to the main entrance, which is down here. And we'll stop at this bus stop. And then we'll go around the corner into the car park. And we'll stop there. And what this means is that, like, if you're working in here and you're parking all the way out here, you can jump on the bus and just get a lift to the car park. And then if you're at the far end of the car park, you can go down to the bus stop down here. There you go. Or if you've driven to work and like at lunchtime you want to pop into town, right, and you don't want to drive, you can just catch the bus into town. How cool is that? See? You know, there's some thought gone into this. Right, so that's the Shava line, making Shava happy. There you go. And then the second thing is, now, we need some buses on here. Now, who are we going to get to drive our buses? Well, there's only one person we could choose to drive our buses, and that is Walshy. Because Walshy, who is one of my patrons, it turns out, drives one of my local buses. Yeah, unbelievable. Between Kingston and Richmond. Unbelievable. What a small world. So, Walshy, I've put 3 buses on here. The Walshy 1, the Walshy 2, and the Walshy 3. How about that? So, they're going on the Shava line. And I'm going to space them out. To be honest, I don't know why I'm fussing, because it kind of doesn't really matter. But I am going to space them out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, at Ashton Central. Actually, I'm not going to do it now, because I don't want to wait. But I'll set it to, like, wait for a full load and with a wait time of, like, 3 minutes or something, so it spaces them out. So... okay, so what we're going to do is crank the game up, right? There's the Walshy 1. Now, the Walshy 1 is going to... you know what, we won't go first person yet. I'm sure some of you would like me to be first person riding this, but it takes a while to get around there. And... riding it on 3 times, or what is it, on triple speed, in first person view, it doesn't look particularly great. So we'll just let it get there. The roads are a little bit congested over by the bus depots because, or the bus stations, because there's like so much public transport. But if you look, there's actually not that many cars on the road. And it's all moving very freely. So it's all working pretty well. Okay. Well, we want to jump on board because we're going over the bridge. The rickety, nasty, horrible bridge. But look, we've got the towers. I probably should have gone first person a little bit sooner, but it's cool because... don't they look amazing? I think they actually look better, like close up, from the road view rather than the train view. I mean, they look great from the train, but I don't know. There's something about seeing them from the road view. They look stunning, and the countryside, my God, looks fabulous. It looks so freaking realistic. That's what's kind of getting me. The mountains. Once you've got the fields in, and I mean, the thing is, what you immediately spot is where it's not done. But where it is done, oh my God, it looks good. These things are majestic. And now we're going to get to see a little bit inside. We do need a security checkpoint. I love all this stuff. It does make a hell of a difference. I think. Now I'm sure some people will say that I've kind of gone overboard on it, but I don't think so. There's some nice details. I think there's some nice details. Just things like you know, putting the bins outside the doors and stuff like that. I'm gonna speed it up. Come on. There we go. I should have put some bins over there actually. I missed those ones. But just like adding in all this pipe work and stuff just makes it seem a little bit more real. And having, you know, these trailers around the place. By the way, those little bits, those little lumps in the road, that's where I've used Painter. And it does create those, like every time you click, it creates one of those little points and you can't get rid of them. Or at least I haven't found a way to get rid of them. But look at these. Aren't they awesome? I love these towers. Now somebody said, oh, you shouldn't leave it just like green field. But actually, if you look at the previous video, I put up aerial photographs, and they do tend to be in green fields. They don't tend to be like all concrete and whatever. So there you go. That is a trip around the power station, and now we'll be loading up with passengers. They've had a hard day at work. They'll be heading home to the wife. Did you have a nice day at work? Yes, dear. What did you do today? Well, we kind of did our bit to destroy the ecosystem of the planet. Oh, that's nice. Because as somebody pointed out, like, why on earth have we got like a coal-fired power station in what year is it? In 2141? Really? So yeah. So, but like I said, it's whatever you want it to be. It's coal-fired, it's oil-fired, it's natural gas-fired, it's nuclear, it's whatever you want it to be. And whatever it is, I freaking love it. So we will have a quick look from the boats. Ah, oh, love it. Let's get a little bit closer. Oh, hells yes. And zip up a little bit further. I mean, the views have all worked out pretty perfectly. You can see the buildings. Yeah, we've got lots of trees and whatever around it, but you've still got it there. And of course, we've got to go over here. Like the thing that started it all, really. The train's coming in from Ashby. Oh, pause. If I grab you, that's what we want. We'll just have a quick look at this. You know, I mean, it was great when you had the 4 chimneys there, but the 4 big cooling towers. But when you've got the chimneys there as well, and it's asymmetrical, and you've got the reactor houses, and man, it looks good. Let's zip a little bit on. I just want to see what it looks like when you come out of the station, because I haven't looked at this view. And let's go normal speed just for a little look. Oh man. Oh yeah. Seriously, it's everything that I could have hoped. I will probably tinker around with it a bit more. We're going to end this episode. Well, I mean, I'm so tempted to ride the train this way as well. Is there one around? There is. Go on. We're just for a few seconds. We'll have a look from this direction. Oh, now what a freaking view that is. Because of course it's elevated. I mean, the view from the boats is nice, but this, you get a really good view of the buildings. Alrighty, that's enough of that. That's enough of that, because we will be spending some more time here, because like I said, I want to get Okay, there is a goods factory down here. What I was thinking of was maybe shipping stuff into here and then trucking it down to this place. Not using these little back roads, using the main roads, just so that we don't spoil it. I think having like 1 million trucks on these roads would look horrible. And yeah, maybe make some goods, and then if we ship them back the same way, then this is already connected to like the entire network for this region for distributing goods. So that would definitely work. And we can have a very quick look at the stuff that I put in. I mean, I love putting all this kind of stuff in. I could put a lot more in. I mean, I wish there were more variations on the pipes and things, because I'd put pipes all over the freaking place. I mean, I kind of had to stop myself because I was just... I could have spent many hours putting this stuff in. And yeah, I like putting this stuff in. It just, I don't know, it just adds a bit of colour to it, for one thing, and just makes it feel like there's something going on. And love these containers. I really like these. I thought these were a good addition, these tank containers. So there it is. That's the power station. When I get this going, we may have spent some more time here, or I might do it. I might do something, because somebody suggested where I've got this looping through this building, this road, right? They suggest, well, why don't you put a waypoint in there and have trucks actually going in there? So yeah, and I did have the idea, if I can find a small bus, you know, like sort of like the kind of thing that they have at airports to like to pick you up from parking and take you to the airport and whatever. I might set up a little route around the whole place with, you know, so that, you know, people can get shipped around the place, you know, from the parking, like all around the place, around these back roads and whatever, because that'll really show off all these decorated bits, and I thought that'd be quite nice. So there you go. You know what, guys, you got a lot to comment on. There's the power station, there's all the detailing, there's the station, there's all the fields and whatever, how that looks. What do you think? Is it good? I mean, we had some mixed comments. Some people absolutely, like most of you, absolutely love it. But there were a few people who were like, yeah, it's not my kind of thing. I prefer, you know, the scenery's okay, but I prefer riding the trains and doing all that kind of stuff. So there you go. We are going to end with, now let's see. I'm looking for a specific thing. I can't see it. Oh man, what I want is a plane going from Biggleswade going to West Ham, and I'm not seeing one. There was one just landing actually when I started looking. I think it's probably, yeah, it's just landed. So where's the next one? Oh, there's another one coming in. We'll end on, well, so there's got to be one behind it. Where's the next one behind it? I can't see it. I can't see it. Because I tell you what, the flight over the lake is really nice, and the views of the power station. You know what? I'm gonna crank this up, and there's a plane there. We could. Do you want to do a takeoff? Go on. We'll do this very quickly. So you jump on board. Okay, seat backs up. Tray tables in their upright position, and off we go. Woohoo! For a very, very rapid flight. Across the lake and into West Ham, so that we can have an aerial view of the power station. And then you've kind of seen it from every which way. And there you go. Where are you going now? Oh, I think he's doing a loop. Yeah, he's doing a loop. Get to see it twice. Lucky us. And there it is. Are you going to come into land this time? Yeah, I think he's coming into land this time. Would be nice. Is he? No, he's getting waved off again. You know, I'm going to jump on the plane. If I can catch it, I'm going to jump on the plane in front. Yeah, so we're on this plane. We're getting waved off because of this plane. So, oh no, that's going to Sedberg. Why are we getting waved off? Okay, you know what? Forget it. Oh, it's because that's still on the runway, I think. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with a couple of little views. I think probably my favourite view is this one. I think that just looks stunning. But we'll have a quick look. How did this end up looking? Well, pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And of course, coming from this direction, coming out of the tunnel. It's a pretty nice views, isn't it? Alright guys, leave me a comment. Come on. Especially if you've never done it before. Come on, leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, because I've really enjoyed the last 2 episodes. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will catch you for the next one. Peace out.